Hey there. I just came back from my first podcast conference, Evolution, and it was awesome. I learned a lot. I brought my network. I got confirmation that Auntie Talks and Listens is really on the right track. And that is because of you. And I want to say thank you for listening, watching, sharing the shows, writing those 5-star ratings and reviews. I ask that you keep it going. Auntie Talks and Listens is well positioned for its age. In preparation for the conference, I also worked on developing my elevator speech, really honing in on the primary reasons why I do the show. And that really is to be able to talk to a diverse group of folks in order to better understand, particularly in these very divisive times, how much we are alike and where we are different, why. So, this current episode highlights just that. My guest, Carrie Carroll, is a white female Midwesterner, a millennial Roman Catholic youth minister, in addition to a bunch of other things. And as you well know, I couldn't be more different than that. I am a Black female, a native Californian. I'm a baby boomer. I would describe myself as spiritual as opposed to religious. And I have been divorced almost as long as Carrie has been married. Yet when I asked Carrie what she wishes she had known and done 10 years ago, you'll find that we are more alike than we are different. The other thing to note about this episode is that we switched the order of it because Carrie was in her good girl corporate behavior initially. I actually did a post recording with her, calling her out on all the things I know about her and the rich complexity of what makes Carrie Carroll, in order for that you could better get to see the full Carrie. Enjoy. Okay, folks, so I'm back with Carrie Carroll, who is out of the Midwest. You will have heard a little bit of dialogue between the two of us talking about the two questions that I'm asking folks. What do you wish you had known 10 years ago, and what do you plan to do with the next 10 years of your life? And so Carrie and I stayed on talking afterwards. And in full disclosure, Carrie had initially said to me, you may not want to use what I share. And I thought, first of all, ridiculous. I've known her many, many years. I know her as being extremely smart, extremely engaging, and fun as hell, to be honest. And one of the things that Carrie is doing, she sort of downplayed it and said that she teaches some classes for eighth graders in the evenings after having put in a full day's work. And I know what a full day's work is for her. That's 10, 12 hours a day. And she has a husband, and she still has a kid at home and two kids in college. And afterwards, I said to her, why wouldn't I have used what you share? And she was like, well, I'm kind of boring. It's not that interesting. What Carrie really is she's a youth minister. She's an influencer. She is changing the lives of young people by talking to them about God and about their ability to impact others' lives. And I put her back on here so I could put her on the spot and say, girl, you got it going on. You are an influencer, and stop downplaying that you just this small little girl in St. Louis at your little church. You are changing lives.
Well, thank you. I do think it's the most important thing that I do, and probably I will have ever done in my life. It's definitely what I'm most proud of. I think that the generation that you heard me say earlier, I think that they do have very unique skill sets, and I think they are America today. But they have so many challenging encounters every single day
Mm-hmm.
um, with what is truth, with how people are
Mm,
talking about their conflicting priorities and their conflicting perspectives,
mm,
with the violence that's happening and with the social media and with all the access that they have to information that I didn't have at that age when I
mhm,
was well, yeah, I didn't have it at that age that, to influence me. And so
mhm,
I think that they have it really, really hard. And I want to be there to kind of help them. I can't fix anything, but I can partner with them and I can walk with them through
Mhm.
anything. And that is what I want to be is I want to be that person where you know that if you know me, you can call me at any date and time and I will walk with you through the happiest or the saddest or the most confusing thing that you're even afraid to tell maybe your grandparents or your mom and dad or anything, but I'll be honest and I will be a partner through it no matter what. And I think that's what they really need is I think they need some understanding. I think they need some forgiveness because they are going to make mistakes and we have to allow them to say oops and to go again. And I do think by far it will be the most important thing for myself, for my own growth that I will have done by the time my world ends. So it
So
I
I
think it's
want to
insanely
say
exciting.
I want to say this. I want to say a couple things. Number one, I want to say Carrie is in her, how shall I say, almost best behavior mode. Um,
Yeah. I am trying to use my manners.
I'm just gonna say Carrie and I have closed some restaurants down. I'm just gonna say that.
Yes, we have.
Right?
Yes, and no regrets either. No regrets. Not at all. I'll close a restaurant down with you tomorrow if you want to. Absolutely.
We know how to have a good time. Uh, we learned about Southern ladies punch and punch bowls
Yes.
and how to make them
Atlanta.
enjoyable for adults,
Yes,
right?
yes, very much. Very much. Thank you, Atlanta, Georgia. You taught me fantastic lesson about beautiful punch bowls.
um, so I know that not only is she an inspiration to these young folks in terms of giving them tools with how to cope and navigate lives, but I know she is doing it with fun also. And, I just have to say, this is my opportunity to say to you again, as I said to you so much when we were working, you have got it going on, girl, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think in the end, I think we're warriors, both of us. We can
100%.
party hard, we can work hard, and we commit to whatever we want to do. But you know what? We'll keep it honest and we'll hold each other accountable, but we're going to be with each other even when it gets nasty. We don't stop and we support each other through no matter what. And I hope I teach the kids about that too because I definitely have learned the value of that through you.
And let me say this before we close. I describe myself as spiritual and not religious.
Mhm.
And but I am a believer in giving our young folks tools that they need to get through life successfully. And I believe that done the right way, religion can be one of those things. And if there was going to be someone at the helm teaching that to our young people, I'm glad it's you.
Aw, thank you.
You want to introduce yourself to our audience?
I would love to. So I'm Carrie Carroll. I live in the southwest suburb of St. Louis, Missouri. So I'm a Midwestern girl, born
Mhm.
and bred here in the Midwest. And I am a mother of three boys and three dogs.
Mm.
And I've been married to my husband now for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And professionally, for about the past, I'd say 20 years, I've had different roles, but really it's been about kind of transforming change and helping people, shepherding them through the change. And then most recently, for the past 7 years, I now teach night class for middle schoolers. And I'm absolutely enjoying that and love being a part of the youth life and trying to help kind of drive them down a path towards success and fulfillment.
Wow. Sounds busy. And
Very
for those who don't know, which would be everybody listening, Carrie and I worked together for many years. Carrie was my right hand, the person I could trust with absolutely anything, the person who I could do what I do a lot of, which is spin some wild, crazy idea, say I want some sort of improvement, and Carrie would go off and do everything she could to make it happen. So she is near and dear to me professionally, but she also holds a special place in my heart. She is like a daughter, like a sister to me.
Yeah, you're phenomenal. I mean, I still think the moment that we had the opportunity to work together, you were my boss for quite a bit of time, but it was such a tremendous opportunity where somebody pushed me to grow myself in every facet of my life, not just professionally, but you
Oh,
transformed my personal life too.
wow.
And you're just an absolute blessing for me. And I'm just thankful for the day that we got to know each other. It's been awesome.
Okay, let's end the interview now. That was good. That's perfect.
And cut. Yeah, no, it's true. It's all
check
true. It's all true.
check is in the mail, young lady.
You were tough, but I grew from it for sure. Yeah, it was good.
Well, hey, I invited you here today because you know I am interested in getting different perspectives on the same topics a lot of time. Just trying to better understand what makes us tick, what makes us think the way we do. Is it based on geography, based on race, based on sex? Why do we think the way we do? And so some of what I am doing is asking the same question of different people from different backgrounds. And I'm trying to see how similar we actually are, and or how different. So I am going to start with the first question. And that is, what do you wish you had known or done 10 years ago that you are doing now or that you have done that you believe represents an improvement in your life in some way?
I thought really long and hard about this question. And there was one thing that kept lingering in the back of my mind. And it was going back through the years and not so much about what I did,
Mm-hmm.
but what I recall other people, how they would introduce me, what they
Mm-hmm.
would say. So, like when my parents would say, "This is my daughter," what would they follow with? Or when my husband would say, "This is my wife," what would he follow with? And what I realized is it wasn't ever about a professional success that I had checked off the list. I have done some remarkably transformative
Mm-hmm.
things from my
Mm-hmm.
perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what they lead with is she built a program that helped senior citizens have home care. She built this program to help eighth graders learn more about these different things. She did this in the community. She volunteered for that. She volunteers for this. It was all about community and it was about people. And what I really wish I would have known is that it wasn't ever about the end game. It was about every moment I interacted with another human being. And that's what people remember. That's what my parents can explain. That's what my friends can explain or anybody. It's about how did they see you being human and treating other people as humans and with dignity and with love and with respect. And I really, really wish I would have known 10 years ago that that really is the genuine priority. It's not succeeding to the next tier, to the next role, to the next pay grade. It really is about succeeding and building those relationships and those connections of making an impact in somebody else's life. And
Mm-hmm.
that can drive every moment that you have an interaction professionally and personally. So that's,
So, are you doing any of that now?
I'm doing a lot of it now. So I've had quite a revelation. So, I think when I was working for you, I think you know that I believe that God had to kind of wake me up a little bit, and he
Mhm.
gave me cancer at that time to say, you got to kind of recheck things a little bit. And it was really hard to change habits. And
Mhm.
I think it wasn't until COVID that things really started to click and where I was actually able to kind of put the rigor behind what I needed to do in
Mhm.
order to kind of recalibrate my life, and to the fact that I can be very, very busy, but yet I still feel like I have work life balance because I've improved the quality of the relationship I'm having with somebody. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so right now, my main primary thing that I do is I start every single day with something spiritual. I will be praying, I will be reading, I will be doing something to center myself, to make sure I'm putting people first and that I'm putting my values at the absolute forefront of every moment of what I'm doing. And it's been an absolute game changer.
So, I'm going to say a couple things. So,
That's
as
your
I
mom
mentioned,
tone.
and
Yeah. I
you do know my
so
mom's tone.
the number of times I've heard you say so. I'm going to say a couple of things. And then you impart this motherly wisdom on me in some part of my life. And I always know something big's coming and it's going to be very truthful and honest. And it's going to be very Tracy. But yeah, you got your mama tone. So I'm ready. I'm ready.
Well, here's the thing. I don't necessarily feel like it is my turn to impart wisdom. I feel like you have imparted wisdom. And, you know, I said at the beginning, I'm looking for, if I'm honest, I'm not looking for what's different about us. I'm looking for what's common amongst us. Because think, I think we're at a time where we're so divided that we have lost sight of, to be honest, we all want the same things. We want a good life for our kids. We want a
Yeah.
good life, for our families. We want to feel like we've been good people. Um, I know I want that as part of my legacy, that I was a good person, that I touched lives. And so when you talk about how you took this retrospective look and said, how do people introduce me? And that all of those introductions really were about things that showed that you care about people. I think you're actually a little bit ahead of the game. However, I heard these similar comments from a lot of folks that I've talked to about this, that
That's awesome.
I want to be a better person. I want to have better relationships. When people talk about, almost everybody talks about, um, anybody who's been a super busy professional is going to say something about the lack of work life balance.
Yeah.
Not one of the people has said, I wanted more work life balance so I could play more golf or so I could go on more vacations. Everyone said, so I could have had more time to spend with my family. Um, so there were times when I was there, but I wasn't present. And so,
Exactly.
right? Right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things now in my life because I'm in the evenings, I now have obligations besides working all day on Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night.
Mhm.
And it's not about, and so when I think about my husband, when I think about
Mhm.
my children, it's not about the volume of time, it's about the quality of time.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it really is about being present, as you say, and just actively listening and making sure that person knows that you are actively loving them and genuinely caring and that you're making them a priority for that moment.
Mhm.
It's about,
Mhm.
like they always say, right? It's about the quality over the quantity.
Yep. Yep. And this should ring a bell for you. You know how every year I would say my New Year's resolution every year is to be a kinder, gentler version of myself because I had such a
Yeah.
reputation for being, for lack of a better way to put it, a hard ass. You know, I was riding along in the car. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I thought to myself, "You actually are a kinder, gentler version of yourself." You you know, you still got room, right? You still got room because Lord knows you
Yeah.
can't unleash the
Yeah.
beast from time to time. But I do think, all of us are seeking that, and realizing, as Kim Baker, our former leader, said on this very podcast, I want there to be more on my tombstone than she was a really hard worker.
Right.
Right. Right.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And and it's hard for people, I think, like us, where we have gone through a little bit of an evolution because we have been
Right.
in that place where work-life balance was not existent at all.
Right.
Um, it's hard to get people back to trusting that you really are there and that you are more than the workaholic.
It's true.
Because I may feel that I've changed, and some months have gone by or whatever, but for people, their impression of me and how they think of me and how they interact with me, it's very much habitually based
Hmm.
on the fact that they got used to me not being there sometimes. And
Hmm.
that's been a
Hmm.
real big struggle for me, is to try to kind of win back that relationship and
Hmm.
kind of win back their trust that I am going to make them a priority.
And can I ask, if you don't mind sharing, what are you doing on those 3 nights a week that you're out trolling the streets now after work?
What should do with that? Yeah. So on Monday and Tuesday nights, I
Mhm.
teach eighth graders. I it's a religious class, so as you know, I am a Roman Catholic, and so
Mhm.
it's confirmation preparation. So it is preparing them to receive a very important sacrament, which is all about how do you utilize everything that God has given you to go forward in the world and to help others and to treat others how you want them to treat you. And so it is the opportunity to teach them um, about all those different gifts, all those different graces that we've been blessed with. And then
Mhm.
also to equip them, because eighth graders love to challenge you with the why. They'll be the first to tell me why I don't believe in this or I don't believe in that or why, and to push me, and for me to be able to have that deeper, meaningful conversation to try to explain to them that it's not just because we tell you to, that
Mhm.
between history and just between kind of looking at things from a philosophical or a theological perspective, there is a truth, and that it's important for them to figure out how to leverage that in their lives, and what that means to them, for them to start going down their own faith journey, because everyone's road is different. And then I did just, oh, go ahead.
So it sounds to me like, though, you are, through this spiritual teaching, helping them to understand earlier the importance of using your gifts to have positive impact on others.
Absolutely. That's what life's about.
Mhm.
And I do believe that our teenagers have very unique skill sets at
For
that point in
sure.
time in their life.
Mhm.
And I think that they are the world present. Everybody talks about them being the future. No, they're the now. And
Mhm.
how can I equip them in that moment? How can I
Mhm.
empower them? How can I help them to leverage
Mhm.
that unique skill set that comes from being with that energy of
Mhm.
youth, and from some of that um, oh, come on, Trace. What's the word I'm trying to think of? I can't believe I just blanked out on it. It's not naivety, but innocence. How can I
Mhm.
capitalize on that innocence with them so that they can use that for the good, and to really kind of, bring joy to other people?
Well, I will say this. I was glad you blanked out on the word because you're some 20 plus years younger than me. And now it doesn't make me feel badly when I blank out on the word.
I do it all the time. I know. I know.
I love this.
Oh,
This has got to be so rewarding, though, Carrie, having this opportunity to be with these young people and to impact them and to help guide them.
it is. It is. It's hard because like I just had a student who just lost his mom,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and so you're talking about a 13-year-old kid, and I know these things happen, but I think it's you never know why you're put in front of somebody and how you're going to impact them through the hard times, in addition to just the good things that you've planned for. And so I've had so many
Yeah.
surprises that have happened in the kids' lives that
Yeah.
even if I just get to somehow be there for them to rant to, because I'm not family, I want to be there for them. So it's very rewarding. I
I'm proud of
highly
you.
recommend, yeah, thanks, but I highly recommend everybody find a kiddo to bond with because it'll change your perspective for sure.
Well, I'm super proud of you, kiddo. This gives me more to brag about on you.
Wow.
Which
I
which I'm still a professional bragger.
I
That's gonna be on
well
my
I will
tombstone. Professional bragger, right?
but I will say you gave me the confidence to be able to go and to do those types of things.
Oh, Carrie,
So
I
just
appreciate that.
I mean, just when we talk about you never know why someone's put in your life, I do genuinely think that you were put in my life to make me a tougher cookie so that I could be more resilient to help hold other people up. And so it's back on you.
We've been good for each other, good to each other, and good for each other. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been fantastic. Anything more in terms of the next 10 years?
Right now, I'm still going to be working 10 years from now. I'm not as lucky as you to where I'm retired, but my goal is to just make sure I take things one moment at a time, not to
Mhm.
get too, not to get too focused on my 5-year plan, but to
Mhm.
just keep it a priority for me to make sure that I put people first, and that if I do that, I should be able to. Who knows what surprise will be there in 10 years? So I'm just living it one moment at a time, Trace.
I love that though. I love that. I love the one moment at a time. And I love the fact that you are starting the day with something spiritual every day. I tried something for the new year that was absolutely fantastic for me, but I've fallen off the wagon and I've got to get back on. And that was, I was doing this thing where I started every morning with sort of like a gratitude journal.
Yeah,
Yeah, sort of like a gratitude journal. 10 minutes of gratitude journaling, 20 minutes of meditation, and then 20 minutes of reading, and then the
that's awesome.
workout. And it was, I mean, I almost electrifying is how I would feel at the end of that. So I certainly can appreciate the idea of starting every day with something spiritual or religious, whatever your background happens to be, and just setting the
Absolutely.
intention for the day. So I love that. I love it. I've got to get myself back on it. I did it for all of January and then I fell off the wagon. And I don't know how it is that, you find something that is so good to you and good for you. And then you're like, oh, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. How can you be too busy for that goodness? I got to do better at that.
It'll. You're worth it, right? We're all worth it, and we got to love ourselves first and foremost. And so I think it's fantastic that you started that, and I can just see your face light up even when you talk about it. So I absolutely believe it's electrifying.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
I agree because if you don't love yourself, you have no idea how to love somebody else. So
Yeah. 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 All right, hon. Well, this has been fantastic. I appreciate you, busy woman, out not only helping to support your family, but changing the lives of young people. Super impressive. And I appreciate the fact that you took time for me.
it was awesome being here with you. Thank you so much.
All right. I love you, hon.
Love you too. I'll see you later.
Okay.